coming out from the location, followed by the pledge of allegiance to Texas and the United States flag. We are going to be in a session, so we do have a quorum here, so it's going to be like a regular session.
Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we would ask that you grant us the peace and harmony that we expect to have in this meeting. Be with our firefighters, our policemen, our men and women in uniform around the world. Give us this right to apply our feelings and our thoughts and to address any matters we may have with our local government and districts. All of this we ask in your Son's holy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Okay, thank you all.
Mr. Secretary. Quentin Kiwabasa.
Present.
Mike Trainer.
Present.
George Jones. George Jones. George Jones. Bill Maines. Bill Maines. Bill Maines. That is me. I'm here. We do have a quorum, so.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Secretary. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. It's good that we've got a turnout to show everybody's concern, likes, dislikes. Basically, what I'm going to go through is just a few points on it, and then I'm going to turn it over to Chris, who's our fire chief over here, to give a little PowerPoint presentation. But the main objective of coming up with this sales tax was to alleviate the burden of raising the property taxes. A lot of times people pass through our district and we do have situations where we have to use the emergency services. Now these people do not pay a tax that property owners pay the tax on. So this was a way to to alleviate that. This for renters, stuff like that. People that actually, use our services, and this is this is strictly for the fire department right here. This right here. The ESD, the ambulance service is a different service altogether, but the main purpose of this tax is so that we can staff this building as well full time. And we kind of lack that right now, but anyway, that's kind of our objective. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chris, the PowerPoint, and after that, we will go ahead and take questions from y'all.
All right. Thank you. Real quick, my name is Chief Thompson. I work here for Wilson County Emergency Services District Number 1. I'm a retired corpus firefighter. This is kind of an after job here. The Emergency Services District, we cover 127 square miles, about 10,000 residents. I think everyone is familiar with our boundaries. We actually have 4 fire stations, 2 which are manned. Station 1 is manned 24/7 by 2 firefighters. These are TCFP certified firefighters and EMTs. The rest of the people that you may see around that station are all volunteers. We maintain a very big group of volunteers, very, very good, very highly trained, but the numbers are dwindling. This station here is not, up until October 1, was strictly manned by volunteers. October 1, we were able to squeeze out of our budget 1 paid firefighter Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So nights and weekends is all volunteer work. There is nobody in the station when a call comes in at this station. They have to come from home, pick up a truck, and the station 1 comes over to this area and assists. We provide fire, we provide rescue, and we provide first response, which our fire trucks are EMT and paramedic level staff. We do provide first line care, so if the ambulance is out, we can show up and get things going and assist the medic crews. So that's what we do in a nutshell. We are supported by a sales tax. I mean, by a property tax of the property owners, and that's it. The property owners support this fire department 100%. The people that pass through the area, the people that live here that just rent, things like that just visit the area, they don't pay at all for the service. The burden is 100% on the property owner. So this year, when we were reviewing things, and for the 6 consecutive years, this ESD, and this is the only ESD that I'm aware of, they can say they've ever lowered your tax rate, and they did it 6 years in a row. This year, because of the staffing and the call volume that this station is seeing, we had to bring on somebody. And so we did raise the tax 0.25 cents, something like 0.768 to 0.79 cents. That allowed us to afford to bring on Captain Blankenship, who's been a long-time volunteer with us, who's now a state certified firefighter, and he's here Monday through Friday. That was as far as we could take it. So the board looked at all options, raise the property tax further, and then the option of sales tax comes up. The fire department is limited and capped at 10 cents per $100 valuation, and we are below that right now. We are the only ESD in the county that's below that. We are the only ESD in surrounding counties that is below our 10-cent maximum. So we have the ability to continue to raise that. This board has showed a tremendous strength and resolve not to do that. So that's why they looked at sales tax. Sales tax is a broad tax that everyone in the district pays. It also looks somewhat forward. We've seen other districts around the area, and I'm going to give the good example is District 5 in Bear County. District 5 in Bear County was at a 10. They were charging the max. They were struggling. They didn't have very much manpower. Halliburton came in, set up shop. They're ready to drop their tax in half. Because of the sales tax generated from Halliburton, the property owners' taxes are going to go down. Because people that Halliburton they may live in Montana. But if they do business with Halliburton and they charge a sales tax because it's billed out of that location, the sales tax revenue is tremendous. And we don't have anything like that. And not say that we will, but we could. If HEB or Walmart was to move into on 87, build a new location, that sales tax generated by all the people that come in and spend money in that area would benefit the property tax owner. So that's their mentality and thought process behind, let's look at the sales tax. And we're talking about 1%. So if you look at it on a small scale, if you go buy a bottle of water at the corner store, it's going to cost you about a penny more than it would have before. On a bigger scale, if it's a $100 item, it's going to be about $1 more for you in sales tax, as opposed to raising that on your property tax. So it just makes, is everyone here a property owner? So it just kind of helps, and I'm a property owner. All of the board are property owners. That's how you get on the board as a volunteer. You have to be a property owner, you have to pay the tax, and that's why ESDs work, because they are taxpayers as well. They don't want to raise anyone's taxes. So that's kind of the thinking behind it. The other thing is the sales tax is in this area alone, and it stays here. This tax doesn't go to the county, and the county looks at it and says, oh, there's $9,000 this month. We're going to divvy that up, and we're only going to give them a portion. It comes right back to here, and it funds your fire department only. Can we ask questions at the end? I'll lose track. And so that's the benefit of it. Most of us all shop in the city of Lavernia. We eat dinner there. That sales tax is already maxed out. The city of Lavernia has the full 2-cent cap. So the state gets 6.5 cents per dollar, and then there's 2 cents left for other entities, and the city of Lavernia has that entire amount sewed up. So you won't spend any more money in Lavernia. If you shop across the street at the corner store, yes. If you go eat at Baldy's, something like that. So The tax estimate right now from the comptroller is about $9,000. The comptroller has told us, and our research has showed us, that that estimate is usually about 50% of what the reality will be. They can only provide an estimate. If this is passed, then we would submit all of the addresses and all of the businesses to the comptroller. They calculate it, and then you really don't know until 6 or 7 months later, until the first check comes in, of what exactly it is. But all the ESDs we've talked to said it's been pretty consistent, double to just a little more than double. So the funding that we would generate from that sales tax would be to help staff this station. Volunteers across the board, across the United States, are dwindling. They're saying some 10 to 15% a year departments are losing. And we don't want to be in that situation. Most of our constituents are used to now having an ambulance and a fire truck right away as soon as you call. They're not used to waiting that 10 minutes. And that's what we're doing. This board built this station 6 years ago. They were able to build it because they weren't having to pay manpower. The volunteers save this department millions of dollars a year. In order to employ 25 paid firefighters, which is what we have in volunteers, you'd be $2.5 million. You'd be well over that. But our volunteers have saved this department and the taxpayer a lot of money. But they are going away. 2 firefighters is not adequate to fight a structure fire. We'd have the vision and the goal is to have 2 here and 2 there. That guarantees the truck is rolling right away, and the volunteers will fill in right behind them and go to the scenes. But it gets that fire truck there right away and gets all the little things we can get done. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we're looking at and why the board chose to look at the sales tax aspect of it and put it to the voters for yes or no. So that's what I have, and I guess we'll open to questions. Yes?
I have 3 issues. 2 of them are philosophical, and one of them is very practical. Philosophical ones are, first, we're taxing a portion of our district, but not all of it. Now, I understand the bind that you get into, but I'm wondering if anybody went to Lavernia and said, you know, y'all used to be responsible for the Lavernia Fire Department, and you've been getting that, even manned, you know, and could you not release 1% of your sales tax? Because for them to get to 2%, they have 3 different taxes they've done. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is, state controller's office and attorney general's office says that the people who have to vote in the sales tax are those it affects. Guess what? You're allowing the residents of Lavernia to vote this thing in, and yet they are not being affected by it. And I have an issue with that. Just like I would have an issue if San Antonio got to vote me in a sales tax. I just think that that's not correct. Okay? The last one is, the numbers don't jive. Now, I had a little discussion with the chief before we got started, and he assures me that he can man that thing with 6 people. Although, if you take, and you figure a 40-hour week, and you figure the number of hours, and you figure 2 people, that's actually 8.5 FTEs. Okay. But in addition to that, $9,000 a month will come up with less than 40% of what you say it's going to take in order to fund it. And even if you double it, that's still 20% short of what you need, which looks to me like something where we're going to go back and have to raise the property tax. Now, I will tell you that I am living farther away from any manned station than probably anybody else in this spring, because I live almost at 435. Okay, I'm about as far away as you can get. So as far as getting any improved service, I'm sorry, I don't get a dog in this thing, but I would have the tax burden. Okay. But my real 3 issues are, we shouldn't be taxing part of the district with the sales tax. We should either tax everybody or nobody. We shouldn't be letting people who will not have their taxes impacted vote in this election. And we ought to be real upfront about how short that tax is gonna fall from actually funding what we say we're raising this tax to do. Thank you very much.
Do you have an answer on those?
Yeah. So,
I just like to say, I understand your concern and everything, but that is something that we have to do, you know, with them being in that district. I know you're talking about Livonia, the municipal boundaries of Livonia, but,
It would benefit their ad valorem tax. If we had to raise the ad valorem tax, it would affect them because they belong to the district and they pay that ad
Well,
valorem
but
tax
there's
now.
no guarantee the ad valorem tax won't get raised. In fact, I think you'll have to do that in order to do this. Now, the maximum you have would cost, according to your figures, the average home worth $200,000, which I think is probably a little light here, all of $4 a month. Okay, we are talking $1 a week, okay? So, and you're at the max. So I don't think that the difference between where you are and the max is pocket change, okay, for the average homeowner. It's not like.
So you're advocating
You got
raising the
2
property
1/3
So
tax?
you think
cents.
we ought to go with,
Property tax.
Well,
up to 10
I don't
cents.
think it'll get you there. Where you wanna go, neither one of these will get you there. But I do think that this is premature, because I think
So if I may, to address the sales tax, so I understand we don't have any say, the city's already taken that tax, we could certainly ask them, but I certainly don't believe they're gonna be willing to do that. I'm assuming the reason and the wisdom behind the property owners or the people in Livonia getting to vote on it is because they can travel over here with anywhere in the district.
Well, we can
Well,
travel.
they can travel to San Antonio, they don't get a vote
I
there.
understand, but it works both ways. The people outside of San Antonio that may travel into here are not gonna have any say on it, but they can certainly pay the sales tax and help it. Again, we're kind of looking forward. This is not 100% about the sales tax. The sales tax that's gonna be generated from these small businesses we have now is not a lot of money, as she says. However, if we do get a Walmart and everybody from St. Hedwig and Lone Oak and Adkins and all that comes here, that sales tax will help this department and help keep your property tax low. That is the number one thing here. So, the other thing is
I don't know if they can.
so the city can annex. The city would have to be, and I've talked to the mayor about this numerous times, the city would have to be petitioned to annex something. They can't just go and do it. I don't know why, but I've asked the mayor that 3 times already. The mayor says we cannot annex.
It does need to happen, but they can refuse to provide services if they are not in the city limits. And
So,
not-
again, this is
that's
us.
the way that happens.
Firefighters are on an FLSA standard, so when she's talking about 40 hours is gonna take 8 people, right now, I have 2 shifts, an 3 shifts, an A, B, and a C shift, 2 firefighters on each shift. They man that station 24/7 with 6 firefighters. Yes, we employ 12 because there is part-time. There is, if someone takes off on vacation, we have a fill-in. But we do that for about that's benefits and all. These guys only make about $13 or $14 an hour. They're highly trained, but they don't make a ton of money. That's why it's so hard for fire departments to keep people. When I got in, it was a career. Now they come and go because it's not a lot. My son works at Bill Miller's. He's got a high school diploma, makes almost as much as my trained firefighters. Just the simple fact of it. So they work on an FLSA standard. They can work 212 hours in a 28-day cycle without incurring overtime. That is a tremendous savings to the district, and the reason behind that is they say, according to the federal government and the FLSA standards, they're a 7K exempt employee. There is some time that they will be sleeping. There is some time they will be down. Yes, they could work a full solid 48 hours, we have a big incident. Most of the time that's not the case. That's why they don't make overtime after 40 hours like everybody else. If you are a certified firefighter and you were paid as that, you can work 212 hours in 28 days without incurring overtime. So that's what saves us a lot of money. That's why the numbers don't sound that great.
I went to public schools, not like you. How you gonna do them 40 hours, they work a 48-hour work week, and that makes it,
So,
And
What the
I'm
public-
used to figuring firemen's
yeah,
things, I am used to figuring police
Right.
things, because I've helped cities try to
oh, yeah.
activate police departments.
I had a question. How come my taxes have already got the 1% on them?
which tax is that?
My property tax, Wilson County Emergency S. It's already got them on them.
So, Wilson County Emergency Services, the property owners are charged .07.
Well, this is in addition. This is the 1% that you guys want. It's already on my tax.
So,
Wanna
Wilson County,
see?
You sure that's not ESD
it's
three?
ESD 3, that's the 10, they're charging you,
It wasn't on there last year.
correct, so the voters, ESD 3 is another entity, they provide the ambulance service. We provide first response for them and work closely with them. That was voted in last year by the voters, they provided the
Yeah, I voted
ambulance.
for it, but
They provided the ambulance service for an entire year for the area without any tax. And this is the first year that it's coming into
so there's
effect.
gonna be another 1% on our property
No, ma'am.
tax, or no?
Property, so that is a lot of money there. We're
Yeah, I
talking
know.
about, we're talking about sales tax. If you
I
go to-
know, that's what I couldn't
It's not coming on
understand.
your property tax bill.
Okay, well, this
There's-
came out at the
Yes.
same time,
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
1%
But
that,
that is completely different.
Okay.
This would be,
It's 10 cents per hundred.
they're at the maximum rate. We're trying not to be there at that
Okay.
maximum rate. We're trying to keep you at 7.68 or 7.9 or even lower.
I just noticed that
Yes, ma'am.
this was the first year that we had gotten
This
it.
is the
And I
first year.
did vote for them, because I think it's
Yeah.
very important that we have
And we worked very
firefighters.
closely with them, and in fact, when they started up, they wanted to build a station, and we went to them and said, don't do that. You're charging the taxpayer money to build a station, we already have stations. Come live with us, use our electric, use our facilities, our bathrooms, our paper towels, all of that, let's work together. And that's why there's an ambulance housed here now, and that's why there's an ambulance at Station 1. They don't have to pay for all that, and we're really hoping that because of those things, and that district is bigger, we're hoping they're gonna start lowering their tax rate very soon.
I don't think you can count on tax ever going down.
Oh,
Not very many people have done it. We did it 6 years in a row. We
Not
weren't
very
able to do it
much.
7.
Not
Well-
very much. A tax is a tax, and it's gonna stay with you.
Ours can only go up, and it could come down some, but talking about that ESD 3, there's a lot of us, Concaster area, they left us out of that vote at the time. We're at the mercy of ESD 3 to come in and take care
And
of
that's
us.
the one down by Copper Ridge, isn't it?
No, it's back down
No.
here.
That's our-
39.
You know where
Concaster
Pinecrest is?
Corner.
Yeah.
That area.
Oh, I didn't know there was one down there,
back
because
down
I
there.
never
Right,
lived down
it's a
there.
little portion of it that was carved
That's
out of
the
it for some reason. They thought we were gonna be covered by
All
ESD
this
2,
crap.
and we're not.
What's the one
I
down?
mean, they can't absorb us because they're both.
The one- That's
Down-
ESD 2.
That's,
That's ESD number
okay,
2.
that's two.
You
So
don't pay for
then
that.
4 isn't on here or whatever, because I only
ESD 3.
see, I see station 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
But you're saying there's 4?
Right, there's a 4th station. It's in the Sutherland Springs area that didn't get put on that.
Oh, okay.
We took over the volunteer building there, they let us house in the
Okay.
there.
Chris?
Sir.
Gentlemen right here.
Yes, sir.
I was just wondering, I see all these beautiful homes going in, it costs a lot more than mine did, and they're all getting property tax. Now, you guys are doing your best to keep the cost down, and I appreciate that, but I'm trying to figure out where's all that money going, because these are $500,000 houses going in over here.
So
And
last year, in the last 3 years, actually, our property tax value, and I agree with you, you think, that we see, I have to approve all subdivisions. So I see them come in, and you think that it's a lot of money. You think, and I do too, I'm like, okay, this is gonna help me do this or that. When you look at most of those homes, they're $250. And you add up, most of these subdivisions are only 30 homes. You add that up, it doesn't, the money in the ESDs, where the main portion of the money comes from is in the commercial properties. And we just don't have a ton of it. You go to Houston, Cy-Fair, they're 18 to 20 to 30 million dollar budgets because they have a ton of commercial. We're right at $1 million. Our payroll though used to be nothing. We were able to do 700,000 or so. It cost us about 250 just to run the ESD. That's insurance. You can't believe the amount of state regulations. But the insurance is the gas, the electric bills, all of that type of stuff. These fire trucks, we spent over $45,000 maintaining fire trucks last year. They are expensive to maintain. This ESD has done a great job with that. We bought used apparatus. The last 4 apparatus we bought have all been used, with the exception of the tanker, which we got on a grant. The next truck we're buying, we're getting a large portion of that funded on a grant. But, so we're very fiscally responsible. We try and keep that down. Every year we have a planning session and it's posted, and the public is welcome to come in and look at our budget and see exactly where our money goes. We are at about, we're not like a normal business. They say about 50% salary. If your business is any more than that, then you're kind of hurting. Well, because we got to run 24/7, and we're not a retail location. Ours is about 75%. So once we get 2 and 2, we're going to be upwards of $800,000 or $700,000 to staff full, all of our staffing, and that's where the money goes. But I agree with you. You would think that the homes would generate more than they do, which is the other reason we are talking sales tax with the public, and we are looking forward. I can tell you that ESD 12, which is Bear County, right next door to us, which we use a lot, they have John Wayne. Their #1 sales tax that comes into that fire department is John Wayne. And you can't tell me that everybody in that district uses John Wayne. John Wayne does work all over South Texas. That sales tax money comes right back to that district and is helping them lower their property tax. That's what this board is doing. Yes, sir?
Yeah, I think, I get frustrated about the same thing you're talking about, but if you look at your tax bill, it doesn't matter, even the more expensive homes, where does most of that money go? School district and county. So, yeah, they've got a larger tax bill, but these guys aren't getting it, I'm not getting it, the school and the county's getting it, so they're happy about that. But a couple of things I want to ask about. The one you mentioned, Walmart, something like that company would be good, but
I'm not advocating Walmart.
Any commercial entity that comes in, the trend seems to be with a lot of cities across the country is, let's give them a tax abatement for 10 years so that they will come in here and provide jobs that we pay the taxes on until 10 years later when they can start paying a commercial value tax on that. So,
So the only people that I could say that could possibly do that would be the city. I can promise you.
No,
the county's
I
not gonna do
get
it.
that, but what you were saying earlier is true. That would generate a lot of local tax unless they get an agreement with the city to say, we won't charge you a tax until this date here. So I'm hearing one thing, but seeing the reality is something
Again,
else
this is
sometimes.
about city tax. This is about sales tax. And the other examples are the generator companies. There's 2 generator companies that do very well, and they rent generators to all the oil field. It's the oil field people that are gonna pay that sales tax. It's
Right.
not you.
I-
And we can't give tax abatements. So our property tax won't be affected. If Walmart did come in, I don't know, we've never been approached to lower or give anyone an abatement. I don't know that we could.
I don't think we can.
I think the city may have that ability, but again.
Well, yeah, the cities do, but, in the sales tax sense.
You couldn't abate a sales tax. I don't believe,
Oh, okay.
I don't know, I've
I
never seen
I don't
that.
understand all of that, but, from a layman's term,
Yeah, I don't believe
you're
there's
gonna say,
any-
we're gonna get a lot of sales tax from this new place that moved in, but
We
they're
do
not
have,
paying taxes. But anyway, that's regardless. So, if I understand it correctly, about the flyer and what you guys are talking about here, is this clear? Is this gonna be either or? If we don't get the sales tax, we're gonna have to go up on property taxes?
Eventually.
I don't wanna be the guy to say that out loud, because I'm further from the door.
Again, you've got to.
Is that the reality we're looking at?
You've got to look at history, and these guys have done a phenomenal job of lowering the rate. Granted, it's not, as he said, it's not much, but we're not at 10 cents. every other ESD is at 10 cents. They're trying not to do
No,
that.
I get that, and I appreciate what you guys do, because I went to the very first meeting across the street at the church before any of this all started. I don't think any of you guys were there on the board, sitting up, looking at the rest of us, but we were told, and I asked specifically, who's watching the candy store? And we were told specifically, it will never max out. The first tax bill that came out when that was voted in, maxed out. And I think you noticed.
I don't say no.
And
And none of those guys were sitting in front of
I don't
us
think,
today. So,
I wasn't here at the creation, but I don't think this ESD's ever been at the max.
well, I was just looking at my tax bill, by whatever ESD that I was being taxed by,
Yeah.
that they said, oh, it'll never max out because this and that.
I don't think this ESD
Somebody forgot to tell the comptroller because I got maxed out.
Yeah, I don't think this ESD's ever been at the max.
The thing would be if everybody paid their taxes. Now, we asked the our tax collector to send us a readout of delinquent taxes. There were 97 pages,
Yeah.
97 pages with at least 4 or 5 on each page. And that was just the ESD tax. And our delinquent tax estimate is over $40,000 a year. And folks that aren't paying their taxes. Can you imagine what the entire county would be in school tax, what that would amount to?
And if you see the 40,000, you think, oh, good, you'll get it eventually. We have to pay legal fees to the county
Yeah.
to get that money back. So that's all deducted off of it. So we don't get the full benefit of the delinquent taxes either.
Until the county files a lawsuit, and they won't file a lawsuit on a $3,000 or $4,000 debt. It'll cost them $10,000 or $12,000 to get that lien against it.
And we pay
And
part
it
of that
won't happen
12,000.
until the person dies and his property's sold.
No, I get that the county's not gonna do much about that because they let the previous tax assessor slide.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did y'all
She
like that?
She got sentenced the other day, I think
She slid.
she did, oh, yeah.
I would go to jail. But anyway, okay, last point. Do y'all have access to, the Texas Volunteer Fire Department Fund? Or, I wanna know how that works because every month on my auto insurance, I pay $1 to the Texas
Yes.
Volunteer Fire Department.
So that.
So where's that money?
So that goes to the Texas Forest Service, and the Texas Forest Service has $18 million a year or so that they issue in grants. And we've done really well. We've gotten, this next fire truck coming has gotten a $220,000 grant to help pay for that fire truck. Every year we get $12,000 a year to pay for our training. We basically do not pay for training. We pay for it up front. We submit the grant, and we've got $12,000 to get reimbursed. We've also received a skid unit grant. We've received PPE grants.
So, but that's that fund y'all
That
were
is that
able
fund,
to
that
tap
is
into?
correct. So they use, of that $1, I believe they use like about 50% of that to go to the grants, and then they rat hole the other 50% for emergency deployments when Hurricane Harvey hit, for instance, and all these fire departments lost fire trucks because they were drowned, and so they help them replenish that. So
Okay.
yes, sir.
And what you just
exercise
told me
grants.
is good to know. I didn't know that, I did my bill and I'm like, okay, I'm for, I don't know, 10 million people in Texas or something like that with car insurance.
In
That's
fact,
every month that $1 is going to this fund. So where's our portion of it? So
Yeah.
I had heard that version of it before, of how you access it in your local communities. So that makes me feel better about paying car
I would say
insurance.
that we've gotten almost 400,000 in grants in the last 5 years.
Well, but y'all have to fight for that though, right?
We have to apply for it, there's hoops to jump for it,
Takes
to
a few years,
justify it.
yeah.
Takes a few, this truck that we're getting soon was actually budgeted and paid for 4 or 5 years ago, but we've been waiting on the Forestry Service grant to come in and fund the rest of it.
Okay.
So,
Well, good, and I'm done. I've got a lot more, but it's only Thursday.
I want to go back to you on that, the property, you're talking about the housing and stuff like that. Right now in our district area, 127 square miles, the taxable, in other words, net revenue, whatever, or the value of everything is right around $1.3 billion.
it's an amazing number, but, we're
It's in
only
our
a tiny.
127 square mile area. That is what the property values are worth.
So
Yes,
10
sir.
cents of that.
On the tax.
So you kind of do the math on that one
Sales
point
tax.
million.
Yeah, that's
That's collected and goes to the state comptroller, none of it can come back to the county.
Correct. So the county is doing their own district, if you will. I forgot what it's called. Special taxing district. And they're trying to get that so they can use 1 cent to pay for roads and bridges and things like that. That's completely separate. The funding here would stay right here in this district. It would come directly to us. You would see it as a line item on our budget every year. Yes, ma'am.
Do you still get the money from the county?
Right now, we do. I was just having a discussion with ESD 3, and our portion is $51,000 a year. We do not anticipate getting that next year. We anticipate that, for the last 2 years, we fought it. They've tried to take it away. We have fought it because our ESD, again, believes, so the county, I'm just gonna use a number, and I don't know exactly what that number is, but let's say $100,000 comes out of the general fund. All of you property owners pay into that general fund. And then they take 100,000 of that and they fund the fire departments with it.
I was under this understanding though that when you become an ESD, the county stops funding you. But you've been getting funds for years from the county.
It's $51,000 a year and it's part of our budget, and we're anticipating losing that.
We actually have a contract with the county.
We have a contract with the county, correct. My point is, the reason that we're still getting it is because we fought for it, because it's your money. It is, you're paying it out of the general fund. And what they want to do is take your portion of it and redistribute it to Stockdale or to Kenyatta Verde or to Floresville Fire Department, because they don't have an ESD.
And post.
And both. So we fought it and said, no, 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 our constituents they voted in an emergency services. They're taking care of themselves. They want their portion of the general fund that's going to fire service.
Well, I know Eagle Creek fought it for a couple of years. They didn't want it, and they made them take it anyway.
Boy, they want it now.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, Eagle Creek still gets their money. They get paid twice, because they get paid for the EMS contract and the fire service. Yes. Yeah.
Why are they gonna take it away?
So they can redistribute it.
Yeah,
That
We're
dog,
paying.
you have your taxing already,
sir.
everything double taxing
Yeah,
people. Well, it's not double tax, it's a refund on the tax from the
Yeah.
people.
That's why we fought it so hard. We don't agree with it, we don't think it's right, we don't think it's the ethical thing to do. Your county commissioner, Skip Hayek in this area, is very supportive of us in that. He fought for it. The other county commissioners and a judge want to take that money and redistribute it. So we're anticipating losing $51,000 next year. Well, and I hope that all of y'all show up to their county commissioner whenever they vote for that next year, because it'll come up sometime around September.
So it's up to the voters.
It's up to the county, well,
Your
commissioner.
it's up to the commissioners, but we're hoping with public support, they won't do it.
Oh, so the commissioners make that decision,
Correct.
but the voters
There is no vote on
vote
it.
for the county commissioners.
Correct.
Okay, so we need to find county commissioners that are sympathetic to,
And I can tell you that Skip, I can tell you, I know for sure Skip is, and I think that Dickey supported it this year to keep it, and obviously 3 people did, but I believe that all of them supported it this year, but there was a lot of rumbling under, and we just all believe that it's gonna go away next year.
There'll be a move on to do it.
Yeah.
We're watching out for it.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Okay, let me point this to you. You've got 3 stations, right? And you bought the
Four
little one.
stations. Four stations.
Okay. You're saying this station covers all of us, down to Eagle Creek, down to 319, and you're saying you're also going to Sutherland Springs. You shouldn't have to. If you do your math right, you were supposed to have the main station, number 2, over across the next one, and if you have another station over across again, you overlap. Am I right or wrong?
We do have that. However, we can't afford to put people at every station. We can only afford to put people here. And that's, so the paid staffing is gonna cover those areas.
Well, why doesn't Station 3 go to Sutherland Springs? Why does this station, when you read this thing here, this
Station
is
one.
wild. Livonia sits in Livonia and doesn't do anything but Livonia.
No, ma'am.
This station is, you've got about 10 people listed where they go. Station 3, you didn't even mention.
Because there's no staffing there. So the way that, and the reason, are you familiar with ISO and your tax rate? Your insurance rate. So we have the
But they do
lowest,
away with that too.
we have the lowest ISO rating of any fire department in Wilson County. We have a lower ISO rating than anyone I can find that has a rural fire department. So when you call to get your insurance, the first thing they ask you is how close are you to a fire station and do you have a fire hydrant? Most people in our district do not have a fire hydrant. So right then and there, before us, you would get the absolute worst insurance rating you could get. So what we did was we went out through a grant, we purchased a tanker, we worked on our equipment, we worked on our stations and placed them in strategic locations. And we worked with ISO. Your ISO rating is a 4. That is, most big cities, before we even started out, you're a 5. Floresville would be a 10, Kycaster used to be an 8 or a 9.
No, it wasn't. It was a 6 and a 9.
If you redid the numbers today, you'd probably be a 10 because of the numbers. So right now, a hydrant doesn't matter to you. It only matters how close a fire station is to you. We were able to get that fire hydrant restriction taken away. So before, if you didn't have that fire hydrant, it was terrible. Now, all you need is that fire station. And right now, 95% of our district is covered by a fire station. The way we work that, and the only way we can work that, ISO, for whatever reason, doesn't really look at, do you have the manpower there? Because they understand, you can't. We've tried to recruit firefighters out of Sullivan Springs. There's nobody over there. There's nobody 539 area that wants to volunteer and man a station. So all of the manpower comes out of Station 1 and Station 2. We all go together and we all go everywhere in our district. It's not that Station 3 can't come over here, there's no one over there. We put a fire truck, we did everything we could to work the ISO system to get you lower insurance rates.
5-mile radius.
And be sure and ask your agent. They don't,
They
they'll
They don't give it to you,
Oh, we
it's
didn't
not an
know that.
automatic thing, you've got to call. We've had people save as much as $600 a year on their insurance rates
ISO.
for the ISO rating, so that's
And the ISO stands for?
Insurance Services Organization. It is a company that is funded by the insurance agencies to help set your rates. So is that not the dogs watching the hen house? I don't know.
It's not our.
But your insurance company will, someone will admit it, if you ask them what is, ISO, they can't actually say, yes, we are an ISO rating company. They can say, we use their standards, correct? Because
Right,
that is
and y'all,
a
this
registered
one is
trademark
certified as
ISO.
4, and I'm within 3 miles of it, so.
Well,
You were right for
It's because it's not
I would be-
all volunteer, it's a fire department. It's because it's
No,
fire
I get that,
And
I get that, but it's still a rating that, as you're explaining it, my insurance company should recognize that
Yes, they will.
based upon the
So-
responsibility.
So ISO has 6 months to publish that. What we're finding is they didn't publish it. They're not very forthcoming with it. So we're having to provide letters. People are calling their insurance company and saying, this happened over a year ago. Their insurance, oh, well, we didn't know that. Well, so I send a letter to the insurance company that says, here's the rating along with the insurance rating.
Can I get a letter? Because my insurance didn't know anything about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that's what I was gonna ask, so, because tomorrow, several others are calling our insurance company. You guys provide
And
this,
if you,
yes,
if they say
certification
you
or
need
whatever?
something,
Yes.
you'll do it.
It's on
If they
their
say you
website.
need something, you can.
Yes. So
Okay,
if you'll,
so
if you'll,
come back to the station
district1fire.com, district1fire.com, there's a contact on our website. Just submit it to me with your information and what your address is. I'll send you a letter that states, and I'll look it up. And this house is within 5 miles of a fire station, and fire hydrants no longer matter. Therefore, they should receive a class 4 rating.
Okay.
Thank
This
goodness. Fire hydrants, I only have three.
District 1 Fire, it's a number 1, district1fire.com.
Okay.
And home place.
We got some on the far side of the big oak, but not on my side.
I forget who.
They don't have any by me. The closest one is like 2.5 miles away from here.
That's a lot of hose.
Huh?
That's a lot of hose, isn't it? And
Yeah.
if you hook the hose,
They
it'll
brought a
collapse.
tanker out to fight a fire kitty corner from me when they had a fire out there. They bought the tanker and then they bought the engine.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we would even be better. But some of the tankers that were in our area when fire stations closed, they sent that apparatus to other areas. They didn't keep it local.
Yeah. I heard about that too.
So does anybody
So
else?
is ESD one Wilson County or is it Eagle Creek or what is it?
So Wilson, there's 3 emergency services district in Wilson County. There's Wilson County Emergency Services District 1, which is us. There's Wilson County Emergency Services District number 3, which is EMS, which covers almost our entire area and the Stockdale area. They have 3 medic units. Then you have ESD 2, which is 26 square miles, and it is in the Eagle Creek area.
So we're paying for 1 and 3.
We're paying for 1 and 3. They pay for theirs over there. Floresville's trying to get their own ESD right now. We're hearing rumblings of Stockdale trying to do their own ESD as well. It just volunteers used to be a great thing, and I think you'll admit, there used to be a lot of them, and we're very lucky that we do have as many as we do. Most do not. So we're trying everything to maintain them.
You're not, because all it comes down to is money. Why should I volunteer my time when you got 8 people right there?
Well, we
That's
also,
what you're gonna get told to your face.
They'd like to get paid.
We do offer
They like to get
$25
paid
an
too.
hour, you know?
If I'm gonna go to school for a year, when I get out of school, then I want money.
yes, absolutely. I mean,
And you're gonna get told that.
And we've actually put people in San Antonio Fire Department, Victoria Fire Department, but we get them for 2, that's a thing that we kind of got to deal with. It's kind of part of doing business. We bring them in, the training is free, as we talked about, it's through the Forestry Service, the grants. So we train them up and we give them all the certifications that they're willing to take and get. And we've got them for maybe those 2 to 3 years, and then some of them do go away. They're really good and they want to make this a career. They do. And our only hope is that they stay living here, and at night, maybe when they're not on duty, they'll make a call with us.
Now, are you doing training in-house? Because they're saying you can do training in-house with your certified coordinator.
So we are an SFFMA academy, so we train our own state fire marshal. There's 2 entities that govern firefighters. It's the State Firemen and Fire Marshals Association, and then there's the Texas Commission on Fire Protection. We are an SFFMA training facility, and we are in the process of getting our Texas Commission on Fire Protection training facility. We do train our own firefighters. When people come in and volunteer for us, I don't have a task book here, but there's a book that's about 18 to 20 pages of all the skills they need to learn, all the things, the certifications they need to get, and all the training that we provide. They don't get off probation until they go through that. It's very, very good training. After that, there's 296 hours of firefighter training that they go through. So we kind of give them the basic skills, but they can't go inside of a building, put on an SCBA, do all the, I don't want to say dangerous stuff, but all the, all immediate danger to life and health situations. They can help us on car wrecks, they can help us on grass fires, but they can't help us on structure fires inside. They can do everything from the outside. So we provide that 296 hours after they get off probation. And the Forestry Service, through their grants, pays for that. And we're reimbursed for that. So,
Now, do you get to teach them live fires and stuff too?
yes. So
Because in schools what we had to go regional. So regional, we had the badass stuff,
yeah,
which we're supposed to have.
we contract with Guadalupe County and with San Antonio College. We use both of their burn facilities, and we do 2 live burns a year. We're the only volunteer fire department, or only combination fire department that I'm aware of that actually uses live burn facilities and actually does training like that. So,
You guys allow control burns here in the county?
They've been trying to control those burns. It's 7 in one day.
So
Like a certain piece of property?
even though we're a fire department, we don't regulate, the county fire marshal regulates all the burning. So the county commissioner set the rules for burning, and it's enforced by the fire marshal. And by law, if the county has a fire marshal, we can't have our own. We're under his umbrella. And so he sets those rules and he will issue permits. We just kind of help enforce those. So if he allows it, he allows it. If he doesn't,
we have to go put it out.
I have a question about Air Life. So you get involved with Air Life?
Air Life used to come out here 2-3 times a week, probably. It's pretty rare we use Air Life anymore. District 3 has paramedics, they have whole blood, they're full ALS capable. It is literally quicker for them to pick you up, scoop you, and run you to SAMC than it is for a helicopter to fly in here.
I talked to one of the coordinators there at Air Life and asked him about that. They have the helicopter pad they have over there in the old Kitecaster. Asked him about that one and told him that the windsock was getting kind of rapid. They said they would still like to make that an option for them to come out.
Yeah, and when we do land them in this area, that's where we do land them over there. So that's Wood Valley's property.
Yes.
So, you know, but we can certainly work with them to get that fixed up. But yes, sir, we do work with them.
I already told us, she said, no problem, they go ahead and furnish the
Yeah,
windsock.
they do, it says Air Life on it.
It's just the problem of, get up that 20 feet.
Yep.
Hover the helicopter up there.
Yeah. Look at helicopter.
Just hover.
So, all right, well, yes.
This may sound like a goofy question, but who takes care of the sign across from Kitecaster?
So we go and change the sign, but I don't really know who owns it. I think that's Wood Valley's property as well.
No, it was ours.
It was yours? Okay.
So the
So,
fire.
We just left it.
yeah, we will change that sign. We will change the ones, the little flip down ones on the
place.
Wilson County, yeah, as you come into the county.
Right.
We would like to get some signage in front of the stations. If you're ever concerned about it, it's posted on our website as well. Or if you call the phone number for us, one of the options is the burn ban status, press 5, you don't even have to talk to anybody. It'll tell you burn ban is on or off. I know it's confusing, and then our fire marshal makes it even worse sometimes because he allows burning during a burn ban on certain days and then.
Well,
we can't
yeah,
keep
then
up.
you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But he mainly does it for health and safety reasons. That's why you can burn trash. They don't want trash piled up. You just can't burn agricultural stuff in subdivisions. So, it's fun chasing them down. We don't go look for them, but if they're called in, we do go put them out. Anything else? I appreciate everyone's time and hope you provided some information.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yes.
The election is November 5th, and everybody vote the way you want.
That's all we can say.
Is the voting going to be, even with the early voting, is it going to be down
So,
with Wilson
great
County?
question. So, because this is on the ballot, it's only constitutional stuff, there's no people, there's no primaries or actual elections. They're expecting a very small turnout. So, all early voting is in Wilson County,
Yeah,
in
so
Floresville.
that room, they got an extra room from where you do the voting?
Correct.
Normally, that's where they put the ESDs to go in there to vote.
So, correct, so it will be the ESD vote and the county vote and the constitutional vote will be 3 separate votes. You'll go to one machine and another. You can go for all 3 or 1 or none. And then the day of the election, Livernia is the only area to vote for this area.
At City Hall.
City Hall.
Yes.
They've combined.
Because they move it around.
There's only gonna be 5 locations for the entire county, which normally there's 15 or something like that. So they really narrowed it down this year.
So one spot is, yeah.
Yep. Thank you very much.